Okay, so to manually calculate your grade, just to kind of see where you think you will end up being, either because you have not completed the Poverty by America rating and you know that you plan to and you just want to know what's going on, or for some other reason that you want to be able to crystal ball yourself into the future. First of all, there is a very simple way to do this, which is that when you are in the grade book, you are going to be able to select one of these dashes here and to enter a sort of pretend aspirational grade. And that will adjust your theoretical grade total and give you an idea of what it is that you are supposed to be doing. I can't do that because I am not a student, so I'm not able to do that sort of theoretical testing. But there's another way to do it anyway. So if you want to do it another way, or you want to double check that that did what you expected it to do, you come here to your grades page and then you have to uncheck this box. So make this box go away. You will see that this has turned into a number. Here it's 0% because the test student hasn't done any work. They really need to get on the ball. And then scroll down here to the bottom. So there are 100 total points in this class. Now, if you have been excused from an assignment for some reason or another, and that does sometimes happen, your total is going to be different. It is not going to be 100, but in theory, everybody has 100 points in this class. And 7 of those come from orientation. That is required for everybody to do. So you can just assume that you have those. But after you have completed orientation, it will say 7 out of 7, right? The assigned discussions and assignments are 30 points in the class. The quizzes, so those are the quizzes in every module on the reading or on the material. Usually it's about your book, but it is not only about your book. Here I mean your textbook, not Poverty by America. That's 34 points, so that's just a little bit more than the homework is. And then you have 9 points for Poverty by America. And it's 1 point per chapter. And then you have, this is 80 points, by the way. So if you do nothing other than the orientation, the assigned discussions and assignments, the quizzes, and Poverty by America, you will get a B in the class. However, all of that would have to be absolutely perfect. So I don't recommend that you plan for that, because it's, first of all, a B is a bit underachieving, you know. We would like everybody to get an A in this class, but also things go wrong, right? Like, you might plan for and expect to do everything perfectly, and maybe it just doesn't work out that way, right? And then you end up with a C in the class, which is not what you want. So anyway, the all 4 of those things together are 80 points, and then the remainder of the points in the class are exams, surveys, and feedback. Surveys and feedback, very simple. Like, it's like, how are things going? Are you planning on taking the work experience course, that sort of thing. And then the exams are exactly what you think the exams are. So, how do you do this manually, right? If you, and this is the most common situation, right? Is that folks are deciding that they're going to complete their poverty reading a little bit later. And so the due dates for that have passed by, and they're looking at their grade, and it is artificially deflated because those poverty assignments have zeros in for them when it's not really a zero, right? Because you're going to do it, you're going to get full credit for it. So, how are you actually going to do in the course? You have to do that manually. So, I've made it easy for you by making the total points in the class 100. Right? And so if you plan on doing all the poverty chapters and you know you're going to do that, you can just give yourself 9 points for that, right? And from here, you can kind of figure out what you're going to get in the class, right? I don't round grades. You know, except in one circumstance. The only circumstance in which I round grades is when folks have taken every opportunity to revise their assignments, right? So, if you don't get full credit on an assignment, I will kick it back to you with comments and say why. And you can revise it before the lock date, right? Like everything has a lock date, but by and large, assignments have a lock date in the future, unless they're due in the same week that the midterm is, in which case the lock date is the same as the due date. But by and large, the assignment has a lock date in the future, and you can revise and come back and fix things. So if you've taken every opportunity to revise and fix things, and you've taken every quiz and you completed every assignment, and you end up with a sort of edge grade, between a C and a B or a B and A or whatever, you have a 79.5% or an 89.5% or something, and you've taken all those opportunities, that I will round. Okay. But if you haven't, if you skipped a quiz, or whatever, that quiz would have been your grade. So I'm not going to round that. So just understand that that's how grades work in this class. Um, if you have any questions about any of this, you should absolutely reach out and I will be happy to discuss it with you or to run through a pretend scenario or whatever. So, if you have any questions, please do let me know, and I look forward to talking to you. Okay, bye-bye.